Good morning, CSL Palm Desert. Good morning, Reverend Joe Hooper and all my friends at CSL Palm Desert. Hey, I love you guys, and I want to sing a song for you to start the day off the right way. Come on, Trey, you can join in too. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. And no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, CSL Palm Desert. Happy Sunday to all of you. Thank you so much, Ricky Byers. We just love Ricky. By the way, Ricky does house concerts every week on Facebook, so if you'd like, friend Ricky Byers, and I know she would love to have you join her for her house concert. So we're promoting all of our artists. So speaking of artists, the next one up is Karen Drucker to do our opening song. So let's welcome Karen Drucker, everybody.
Hey there, Palm Desert Center for Spiritual Living, with my favorite ministers, my favorite band, my favorite music director, my favorite congregation. I love you guys. What can I tell you? So Karen Drucker here to sing you a few little songs this morning. And, I think it all comes down to, when we're going through this wacky time, what we're choosing to feel about it all. So I got a little song for you here. Little song. I want you now, because you're at home, I want to give you permission that you can sing this out loud and you can dance around the room in just a moment. So let me teach you how this goes. But first I'll start off with this little intro for you. What do I want my day to be? I choose. That's what it's all about. What do I want to feel today? I choose. And what do I want to be today? Notice I didn't say do. What do I want to be today? I choose. I choose. I choose. Right now, today, I choose. All right, so this is when you start to get up, move around the room a little bit. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, here's what you sing with me. I'll teach it to you. Today, I choose to be grateful, so grateful today. I choose to be grateful, grateful. Sing that with me now. Today, I choose to be grateful, so grateful today. I choose to be grateful, grateful. Got that, sing again. Today, Love you guys.
Hey, good morning, beautiful community. It's so great to be with you this morning. Want to share a couple of announcements with you of stuff we have coming up this coming week, starting tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow and Friday, we're going to bring back Michael Bogar, who's going to explore the metaphysical Bible with us. And we're going to look at fear, faith, healing, and love. The metaphysical teachings of Jesus during these times of, what I call a revolution. There's some awesome stuff happening, and certainly Jesus was a revolutionary. So we're going to explore some of his teachings from a metaphysical standpoint. That's on Monday and Friday. Tuesday, Joe and I will continue to have our conversations, our Q&A, where we can just hang out and chat and rap for about an hour. And then that afternoon, Reverend Ruth Ann is going to begin virtually offering her grief support group. And if you want information about that, just call into the center or jump on the website. Reverend Ruth Ann, that's 2 o'clock, grief support on Tuesday. Wednesday, the Sensational Six, the Sweet Six, continue to make their offering and contribution to the community. They're going to be, this last Wednesday, they looked at visioning. This coming Wednesday, they're going to be talking about creating a vision board. So how do you harness that vision and then put it on something tangible to remind you of what you're living into? That's on Wednesday. Thursday, another concert and conversation to be determined. We're working on lining up our guest for that right now. And then Thursday afternoon is Dr. Laura with the 10 secrets of success and inner peace. Who wants a piece of that? Inner peace, come get some. So that's Thursday. So then we had Monday and Friday. Friday will be part 2 of the Michael Bogar offering. And then Saturday we have our meditation at 10 a.m. So please just continue to check in with our website, cslpalmdesert.org. Everything's on your screen right now as well. We also want to let you know that our face coverings are going to be available very soon. They're $20. $10 goes to the center. $10 goes to the roof fund. We just had the roof, the new roof covered. We had some leaks going on in here. It's fixed. We're still working on financing that. So we want to invite you into getting a beautiful Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert face covering, and also supporting our roof efforts to keep ourselves dry. Everything, if you miss something, you can go to YouTube, our YouTube page, Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. So if you're ever not able to catch something live, go to YouTube and Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. You can also access that through our homepage, as I mentioned, cslpalmdesert.org. In fact, that's the way we'd prefer you to do it. Go through our homepage to YouTube. If for some reason you forget the website, cslpalmdesert.org, just go to YouTube and put in Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. Those are the announcements for today, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. All right, community, together as a faith community, let's affirm our mission and what we're doing here, okay? Let's say it with me. Wherever you are, will you say it out loud? There's something powerful about saying the words out loud. Let's say them out loud together, okay? Here we go. We are a dynamic, open, and positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our mission is to awaken you to your divine nature, empowering you to create the life of your dreams. We are changing lives one heart at a time. So let's take those words and move them from maybe the head space down into the heart space as we enter into our time of meditation this morning. And I invite you to close your eyes with me. Take a deep breath. And I invite you to ask yourself a question right now. As our mission statement indicates, we are changing lives one heart at a time. What change are you interested in today? What way are you intending to be made whole? To be made new? To become more of your greater self, to realize more of your potential? In what way are you ready to be made new by the renewing of your mind and heart of the presence, by the presence and the power and the love of the Spirit of God within you? Consider that for a moment. And as we move through this time of sacred song and prayer, I invite you to continue to allow that question to dance on your heart. How are you willing to be changed today? So as we move into our ritual, become peaceful, become calm, and welcome. Welcome an answer. Welcome an insight directly from the Spirit, fired into your heart. There is one life, that life is God, known by many names but remains changeless. It is a presence and a real power of perfection and of peace. It is the life that each one of us are living now. We are, as we can only be, an expression, a force that is born out of this power and this presence, here to make manifest the glory of life. And this prayer, this day, I welcome each one of us into a healing, into a change, into being made new in some way. That wherever we find ourselves in life in this moment, that we are made whole and new. And I know that someone somewhere is experiencing a financial challenge. Someone somewhere is experiencing a relationship challenge. Someone somewhere feels lonely. Someone somewhere is seeking an answer. And I declare by the power of my word in this moment, with my union with the Holy Spirit, that an answer is provided now. That comfort is provided now. That solution is provided now. That where there was once lack, there is now plenty. Where there was once loneliness, there is now communion and community. Where there was once illness, there is now health. Where there was once discord, there is now harmony. For as it has been said by our beloved Dr. Ernest Holmes, we believe in the emancipation of all discord of every nature. And that goal is sure to be attained by all. That is my prayer for us this morning. That somehow we are emancipated from any way that we find ourselves bound. Freedom is our rally cry today. We are set free by this service, by this time of meditation, by the song and the sacred word of Dr. Joe. The prayers that we speak and our collective communion, our fellowship, our community. That though we may be separated physically, in heart, we are one and always will be. I'm so grateful for this service. I'm grateful for each of us communing together in love. I'm grateful to know that all is well. And even more well now that we have prayed together. Where two or more are gathered, there I am in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. Feel that blessing right now. Feel that love. Know that you are God's living enterprise and can never be less than that. I'm grateful for this time. I call it good. And so it is. Amen. Let's sing this song together. We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me. We are one. And in this unity, we can live in harmony and peace. peace has come, 'cause we are one. We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. We're going to slow it down right here. And in this unity, we can live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one. One more time, let's sing it out. We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. And in this unity, we can live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one. And peace has come, 'cause we are one.
So if there's anything that I want you to have in your heart right now, as we go through all this, what we're all going through, it's this message right here. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry just fall away from me. I open my heart and I can see there is only love. There is only love, sweet love. It's a love that can heal. Love will set us free. There is only love. And when I lose myself, in those times when it seems like I have lost my way, I go inside and I quiet this chattering mind, and that's when I can hear spirits say, sing with me now, there is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets me free. There's only love. There is only love. Sing it again. There is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Sing it out. There is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets me free. There's only love. There is only love. Bring it into your heart. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. Just love. right now, that's what we gotta do. Just love. Love yourself. Love your family. Love. Love. Let's just keep loving each other.
So I want to thank Karen Drucker for that beautiful song. And I want to also tell you that on May 6th, Wednesday, May 6th, mark your calendars, Karen Drucker will be doing a how to create a chant workshop at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a couple weeks out, but I want to let you know that Karen, because she just sang that beautiful song, that she will be part of that today. So my talk today is called, What is a Crisis? People will look at this situation that we have going around the world right now, and they would call it a crisis. And I understand that. And I sort of believe that too. But I got the most interesting interpretation of crisis when I looked up a reference that I think, can't find it, but I think I heard, it may be rumored that John F. Kennedy used this as an example. So here you go. In Chinese, the word crisis is made up of two characters. Now, I don't know how to read them, but they're right there. And they mean danger and opportunity. So the word crisis means danger and opportunity. However, I love this idea. However, that symbol can also mean pivot or a crucial point. So when you take that idea of crisis, opportunity, and danger, because let's face it, we're in a dangerous situation. These are life and death situations, but we also look at the opportunity that can come from this. So from this crisis, when we recognize, the reality of a situation, we can also see the potential in a situation. So that's what I want to talk about with you today. So here we go. When we meet real tragedy in life, we can react in two ways, either by losing hope and falling into self-destructive habits, or by using the challenge to find our inner strength. Isn't that true? I mean, I have felt that. I don't know if you have, but I have totally felt that at times in my life. When things begin to happen and I think they're a tragedy, I either fall apart or I start taping my boxes up and singing Patti LaBelle on my own, and I am on my way. So I feel like I am an example, a breathing example of what it feels like to take a tragedy, and what we will call a tragedy, and start to define the process, which to me is a real challenge. It's a challenge because, again, I'm looking at a situation going, do I want to make this into a trial, or do I want to make this into a triumph? And I think we all have an opportunity to look at this situation and pull on our inner strength to move us through this experience. All right, next thing. Anything in life that dominates us makes us a servant to its dictates. And it's hard right now because the situation, when we're sheltered in like this, the situation is so overwhelming that it does dominate our thinking process if we allow it to. And we have to really be disciplined not to allow that to happen. And so here's what I'm thinking. Anything in life that dominates me, I am now a servant to it. And I have felt that way about relationships or the lack of a relationship. I have felt that way about health or lack of health. I have felt that way about money or the lack of money. Whatever it is, or a job or a lack of a job, whatever that is that's dominating my process, I become a servant to it. Instead of using the law for my greater good, I become a servant to my own destructive thoughts. And then I wonder why things continue to fall apart. Of course, that's the natural way of being. That's the way things work. So I know that I have to be disciplined in my thinking so that I don't become over-dominated and the servant to this dis-ease and the fallout from this dis-ease. And so now, there is a video that I want all of us to watch because I feel it brings such clarity and resolution and direction at a time when we truly need it. So, here we go. Take a look.
Yeah, I really don't understand why everybody isn't following the same rules right now. They're very clear, so let's take a minute and let's go over them again. First, you must not leave the house for any reason, unless of course you have a reason, and then you may leave the house. All stores are closed except those that are open, and all stores must close unless, of course, they need to stay open. This virus is deadly, but don't be afraid of it. It can only kill people who are vulnerable and also those who are not vulnerable. We should stay locked down until the virus stops infecting people. And it will only stop infecting people if enough of us get infected that we build immunity. So it is very important that we get infected and also do not get infected. You should not go to the doctor's office or the hospital unless you have to go there. Unless, of course, you are too sick to go there. This virus has no effect on children except for those children in which it affects. The virus remains active on different surfaces for 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, but in most cases it's days and not hours, and it needs a damp environment or a cold environment that is warm and dry in the air. Unless the air is plastic. Schools are closed, so you need to homeschool your children unless you can send them to school because you are not home. If you are at home, you can school your children using various portals and online classrooms unless you have poor internet, more than one child, only one computer, or you are working from home. Baking cakes can be considered math, science, or art. If you are home educating, you can include household chores within their education curriculum. And if you are home educating, you may start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. every day. If you are not home educating children, you may also start drinking at approximately 10 a.m. Masks are useless at protecting you against the virus, but you still need to wear one because it can save lives. And in some cases, it may even be mandatory, but also maybe not. You must not go to work, but you can get another job, at which point you may go to work. Stay home. I don't know how many more celebrities we need to have tell you how important it is to go outside and take care of your mental health. There is no shortage of groceries in the supermarket. There are simply many things missing. You don't need to go buy a bunch of toilet paper, but you should buy some in case you need it. If you are sick, you may go out once you are better, but those in your household, they cannot go out once you are better unless, of course, they need to go out. Animals are not affected by the virus, except for that cat that tested positive in Belgium in February, plus a couple tigers. The number of corona-related deaths will be announced daily, but we don't know how many people are infected because we were only testing those who are almost dead to determine if that's what they will die of. The people who die of corona who are not counted won't or will be counted, but maybe not. To help protect yourself during these times, you should be eating well and exercising, but exercising only eating what you have at home to avoid going to the stores unless you need toilet paper or a fence panel. It's important to get fresh air, but don't go to parks, but do go walk in other places. Just don't sit down unless you are old or pregnant. But if you do sit down, don't sit for too long. Unless you are old and you are pregnant, in which case you need to sit down. But if you do sit down, don't eat unless you've had a long walk, which you are allowed to do if you are old or pregnant, except for times in which you aren't. Don't visit old people, but you have a moral obligation to take care of old people and bring them food and medicine. And finally, no businesses will go down due to coronavirus except those businesses that go down due to COVID-19. I hope this cleared up any questions about what we should and should not be doing during this time. Please educate your friends and family with this information so we can remove any and all confusion surrounding this time. Thank you.
Oh my God. Wasn't that hysterical? That's how it feels right now. That's how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. And it's tragic, and it's also really funny because it's driving us crazy. So this woman in this video, I think it just personifies everything we've been working through, doesn't it? So anyway, so moving right along, because this slide will actually help clarify that feeling. Anything in life, oh no, next thing. In tragedy, it can be difficult to find a resolution or reason. It's not black and white, it's a big fog of gray. And isn't that the truth? It's not black and white, it's a big fog of gray. And after watching that video, I'm sure you feel that way. But let me tell you this, and I'm just going to share this with you. We're going to get real honest here. And take it for what it's worth. It's just Joe giving his opinion, just like any other pundit on the TV or expert here. Look, I'm telling you what I'm doing personally so that maybe you can take this as some advice if you like. Because I feel like we're getting bombarded by look, everyone in the media is trying to outdo each other with stories that are going to scare us even worse. The fear factor is just, they market to that actually. And it's like, oh, well this is, and then, just like she said, there's a cat in Belgium, now 2 cats in Escondido or something, I don't know. So we're bombarded by that. Here is what I'm doing for my own sanity. I personally listen to I live in Palm Springs, so I have a mayor who's following the recommendations from the Riverside Health Department. So I listen to the Riverside Health Department, I listen to the CDC, and I listen to my governor. That's what I'm listening to. Those are just my choices that I'm making to outline how I'm living. Because I live in the state of California, the results are here in California, they're local here in my community. That's how I'm choosing to live my life. So you take that for what it's worth, because if not, you can be surrounded in this confusion. I feel great clarity because I'm not being sucked in by all the different outlets, bringing me up to a place of fear where I'm starting to manifest more panic. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you. Next thing, all of our weakness and our lacks are due to some compelling influence that blinds us and keeps us from what we naturally would receive if we were free in mind to receive them. So I want to address something with those people who are currently unemployed and looking for work as a result of all of this. And I know that this is a difficult time for people. There's no doubt about it. Here's my idea for you, and I'm just trying to plant a seed. Many times, in order to see ourselves through a situation, we have to remove ourselves from the situation first, but it seems overwhelming and impossible to do that. And what it says here is all of our weaknesses and our lacks are due to some compelling influence that blinds us. What blinds us, and I've had conversations with people that are going through this, what's blinding them is their attachment to what was and not the possibility of what can be. And that is blinding them and keeping them from even opening the door to a possibility that something different can happen as a result to this. They're actually putting into the law their sense of panic and closing down any opportunity for the universe to bring itself a new idea that could manifest into even into a new career or a new opportunity. They're blinding themselves to that. So all I would say is this: when we're blinded by our attachment to what has happened in the past, we have to get to a point where we have to release that so we can have at least the ability to open up just a little bit, to move into another idea of what our future can look like. I was reflecting on this. Think about what was happening during the housing crisis here. I think it was 2006, 7, or 8, one of those other ones. And people were so resistant to make change, but the people that made changes at that time built new careers and began to thrive in other areas because they made that transition from holding on to something in the past that was now gone or changed significantly, and they allowed themselves to move into something different in the future. Did that mean it was easy? No. Did that mean they didn't go through a hard time? No. But they had to go through the birth canal to get there. And they didn't stay in the womb. They allowed themselves to give birth into something greater. So I'm pleading with all of you who are stuck in resistance to saying, look, I just don't know how this is going to change because this is who I was and this is what I did and now that's gone. I get that. I totally get that. And now I'm begging you, please listen and take this for what it's worth. You have to begin to take the grip off of that enough and turn in a direction, and so you can open your mind so it's free to receive something new, a new message or a new idea that will bring you to a new place, maybe even a better place. In fact, I would say it. I'm looking for a better possibility to unfold. Make that happen for you. All right, here we go. It's ironic that when you go through a tragedy, you appreciate more. You realize how fragile life is and that there are so many things to be thankful for. I've said this time and time again, but I want to appeal to you again and say, listen, maybe now is the time to look, because this does feel like a tragedy. It's a crisis. There's danger, there's opportunity, but I'm appreciating things a lot more. I tell you what, I'm really appreciating technology now. I used to just dread it. I used to just, oh my God, I just said, like, please, just make it stop. I mean, it was like everything was just so foreign to me, and I resisted it. But now I'm looking, and I'm so grateful that I have this little phone. That when I get on this little phone, I can not only call my daughter, I can see her face, and she can see mine, and we can have a connection. And we can sit there and have dinner together. And I can get on and you all can log in and see what we're doing here on Sundays and see what we're teaching every single day at 10 o'clock. You have that possibility now because you opened up to it. Also, and we talk about this every Thanksgiving, and I'm going to repeat it again every week that you see me while we're going through this. We take for granted that there's going to be toilet paper in an aisle. We're taking for granted that there's going to be, certain foods on the shelf. We take for granted that we just walk in and things happen. Now there's this process that we have to go through, this recognition that we go through, that we have to make changes that make us grateful for when things do go back to normal, and whatever that new normal is, when things begin to change back, we will have a true appreciation for the businesses that are open, for the people that are working those businesses. We have a greater appreciation for the people who are on the front lines in the grocery stores and the hospitals and all of those essential businesses. We have a greater appreciation for what they do. This is a wonderful time for us to be thankful for all that we have and thankful for all that we don't have. Next thing. If we are to obey the Spirit within us rather than the conditions about us, then the law requires us to first think into existence from within before we shall see them on the outside. Let me unpack this. If we're to obey the Spirit within us rather than the conditions around us, then the law requires us first to think into existence from within. Let me repeat that. It requires us to first think into existence from within, and then we'll see it from the outside. Then the outside will reflect what the inside has embodied. And so you're the one I'm going to ask the question to. The question goes right to you. What have you embodied on the inside right now that's going to happen this week, next month, over the summer, into the fall, next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? What have you already embodied? What have you already taken in and literally swallowed as your future? And you've embodied it. Is it fear-based or is it driven by faith? There may be question marks, and I'm sure there are. Go back to a million talks that I've used in learning how to ride the question mark. It's really an experience to ride the curve of a question mark. I have no idea. But what I do know is that it ends up in almost like an exclamation point. When you do a question mark, there's the end where it goes down, and then there's a period at the end. It's like, oh, okay, now I know what I'm supposed to do, period. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so here we go. If we are to obey the Spirit within us rather than the law conditions about us, then the law requires us to first think into existence within before we see it on the outside. Clarity. The tragedy of life is often not in our failure, but in our complacency. Not in doing too much, but rather doing too little. Not in our living above our ability, but rather in our living below our capabilities. This is not a time to sell yourself short. This is not a time for you to bring up the past and maybe some insufficiencies or lacks that you think you may have had. This is not the time to dwell on the things that didn't work, because if you do that, I guarantee you that you will have another part of your life that will continue not to work. This is saying too often we're very complacent in this. We're not active enough. I was talking to somebody just recently, and they were talking about how, there's no time to follow up on their spiritual practices right now. I'm like, now is the time to double down on spiritual practices. Now is the time to make time, even if you have to stay up an extra half hour at night or get up an extra half hour in the morning. Now is the time to double down on your spiritual practices. That's the most important thing we can do. Otherwise, we will live below our capabilities. We will live with the limitations that we've accepted. And so I ask you again, what limitations have you already accepted about your future? Things will never be the same. I'll never do what I used to do before. I'll never make what I used to make before. I'll never have the type of opportunities to do this or that or the other thing. Have you already set them in cement? I have no idea what's going to happen. No one does. I have this moment, and I have a philosophy and a training that if I use in this moment will keep me moving into the next moment with greater promise, with greater ideas and greater expansion. If I just focused on what I thought was going to happen, and not what's happening in this moment, and my ability to accumulate this wisdom, this knowledge, this embodiment, this courage, this strength, and this posture that I talked about last week, if I don't take the time to do that right now, then I'm wasting the time that I've been given in this process of sheltering in. Don't waste this time. Next thing. There are crucial things in life that call for great human qualities. Our present fear is that we will not be big enough to meet the demands of the day. So right now, one of our biggest fears is that we're going to have to become different or bigger than we were before. And there's a part of complacency that moves itself into that, because you know what? I had my previous life down. I knew what was going on. I knew my network, I knew my contacts, I knew what I had to do every day, and now I'm being called into something bigger because everything has changed. And so am I up to meet the demands of that? If I tell myself I'm not, I guarantee you won't. But I'm not sure that's the life you want to live. I'm not sure that's where you want to go. The greater human qualities right now are those of resilience, of compassion, of empathy, of love, of seeing God in all things. That's where we're at. Are you embodying that idea? I'm working on it. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I've never been accused of that. You will rise to this occasion. We all will. So I'm going to tell you a little story about rising to an occasion like this. One of the reasons I'm able to stand in front of you today, and that the past 2 weeks I've been standing in front of my office and not in front of you here at the sanctuary, is because I myself tested positive for the virus. And I've now been released by the CDC to come back to work, and so my cameraman is back there with his mask on, and I walk in and make sure everybody's masked up. He and I are the only ones in the room doing the work, and he is well beyond safe distance away from me. But I have to let you know, you can get through this. Some people won't, but a lot of us will. And a lot of us already have. And I tell you that because I don't know, I went into the spiral of shame, like, oh my God, what kind of metaphysician are you? You know, both you and your husband have this. And what did you do? What was in your consciousness that brought it? You know? And we didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell anybody when we walked through it. Oh, partly because we knew that if we did, our phone would be ringing off the hook. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And it was a challenging ride, you know. But we got through it. And I share that with you because some of the human qualities that we had to draw on were not those that were acquiescing to the fear of something. Yeah, we were looking for facts, which were hard to find because they were all developing at the time. But there was a faith that we're going to get through this. There was a constant faith once it started that, look, we know we're going to walk through this. And we're going to be on the other side of this with the antibodies. I know, whatever that means. But we'll be stronger because of that. And I share that story for you because I am the face of someone who walked through it already. Now, I didn't walk through it on a ventilator. And my case was, you know, they would consider it not mild but moderate. So, it wasn't like I was asymptomatic. We definitely had a process that we went through. But the demands of the day were that we continued moving in faith toward what we knew would be our healing. Now remove that just from health now. The demands of your day financially, what's being asked of you to do, you'll meet. Of work, you'll meet them. It will always happen for you. Why? Because you know how to put these spiritual tools in place. Don't forget that they're already in your spiritual tool belt, just waiting for you to use them. Many of you have been coming to the center for a long time and logging in forever, and now's the time to actually put those into practice. This is your opportunity to do that. I'm very grateful that I've been released and to return to work, to step back into this sanctuary that I love so much. And I look forward to the day when we implement how we can all come back into the sanctuary and once again be together as a faith community. Next thing, Remember that story, the love story? It was 1970 that movie came out, The Love Story. And in that movie, there was a line that said, "Love means never having to say I'm sorry." Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. That's so wrong. Love means forgiveness, and a lot of the I'm sorries need to come out. One thing about being sheltered in with people, you find the word I'm sorry coming out more than you've ever used before. In fact, not just sheltering in with people, but talking to other people. Saying the word I'm sorry and exercising forgiveness seems to be more important than ever before. So now, the things we've taken for granted, we now can't take them for granted anymore, like those relationships that we have with family and friends. They're more highlighted, they're more special, actually. And also, some are more controversial as we move through these things. But I can tell you one thing, love is all about saying I'm sorry and exercising forgiveness. If you want something in your spiritual tool belt to make your life a lot easier, 2 words, I'm sorry. They mean a lot to the other person, and they mean a lot to you when you exercise that forgiveness, because you're no longer held in bondage to any of that situation. Next thing, here we go. In this case, I choose to think of forgiveness as abandoning or releasing the wrong thoughts or ideas I have and my need to define why behind my actions. The why behind my actions usually has to do with my ego, and I have to be right, and it's okay for me to make you wrong. And what's the point of that? You know, at this time when I'm learning a great deal. I mean, Trey and I have been together almost, 32 years, and I'm learning more about this person than I've ever known before, because we've never been in a situation where we are literally together 24/7 every single minute of every single day. And so you're learning more about this person that after 32 years, I'm learning new things. And so is he. He may not be too happy about them, but that's another whole story. So the why behind things is not important. I don't have to be right anymore. It's like, just let it go. Learn to let it go. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you what, when we were moving through that process, that dis-ease, it didn't matter who was right. All that mattered is that we were loving each other and taking care of each other and nurturing each other and being compassionate with one another and being very patient, which not always my strong suit, but being patient with one another. You learn more about yourself in a situation like this. So love means saying I'm sorry. Love is more patient. Love is more kind. Love is more gentle. Darkness has no power over light. Remember that. Darkness has no power over light, but light does have power over darkness. It takes only a glimmer of light, just a little bit, to change a totally dark room. And it's dynamic, and it's physical chemistry. It changes everything. That one little light. I want you to be that light in not only just in your own life, but in the life of your family and your friends and everyone you have in contact with. I want you to be that light. Hate has no power over love, but love can dissipate hate. You know, we see a lot of disagreements going on in social media right now and on the television. And I just have to think, you know what? What would love do? What would happen if a blanket of love were to just surround every situation right now? Love can dissipate that feeling of angst and anger. We just have to figure out a way to talk about it in a way that's less controversial and less ego-based and less fear-based, but more faith-based. And even the conversations you're having with people day in and day out of your life, you may feel that. What do they say? There's a thin line between love and hate. Anyone that's married knows that. That thin line, but love always changes that dynamic. It always brings it back to what's really most important. Fear cannot destroy faith, but faith can annihilate fear. We don't have a devil or a Satan to blame, right? And we don't blame other people for things that happen in our life when we've made choices. It is what it is. They are what they are. And fear can't destroy faith, but faith can annihilate any fear. So what do you have faith in? What do you believe in? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Demonstrate some spiritual discernment in what you're choosing to believe. You may find that it may change how things appear, and that you no longer care about the angst and anger, but you're more faith-driven in its resolution. Let us all just stand for love right now. One thing for sure, we have to love one another and love our neighbor more now than we've ever had to do before. It's part of our spiritual DNA that we may have been using, but we're being called to draw upon it even more now. I started out this talk by saying the word crisis has two components in the Chinese language: danger and opportunity. To me, the danger lies in remaining the same, and the opportunity exists when we recognize our love, our constant love. So before I go, I want to thank all those frontline workers who are out there at the hospitals, emergency staff, the guy at the grocery store who checked me out, who bought my groceries. I'm appreciating everybody who is, and loving, literally human love for these people who are continuing to do their jobs and putting themselves out there. Let's surround them and let's stand with them in love. Let's be more loving with our families, more patient. We can do this. We can do this. In fact, we will do this. And we'll be coming back stronger than ever. And so end your lesson. Thank you. Hey, once again, I want to just say thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you're enjoying the service, and we hope you're enjoying all the services that we offer here at CSL Palm Desert. We have a whole library full of different services that we've been recording and downloading on YouTube. If you've missed them, please join the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. Subscribe to that, and every time we download our program, you can go back and watch it again if you'd like. In the meantime, we want you to join us by going through our website, because that really helps us out at getting our message out to the world. So let's do that first. So, next thing, the offertory. So let's talk about the offertory. Before we pray in the offertory, what I would like to do is say this. Our giving obviously has been challenged. We're down a little bit, and so we are calling on all those who are able to give to please continue to give. In fact, we ask all of you who normally come to the center on Sunday, if at all possible, to call the office and enroll in what we call our auto giving program, so that we can take some of the pressure off of wondering if we're going to have enough money each week to pay our employees. So we are looking for your help. Please continue to support us. We know some of you, your lives have changed and are unable to do that. We honor that, and this is the best time for you to be logging in and getting as much information as you can and spiritual tools to move you through this experience. But for those of you who aren't experiencing that kind of fiscal challenge, we'd like you to step up, and if you can, step it up even more and help us so we can continue to do what we're doing in the field and getting the word out to everyone that this process is an awakening opportunity. So join me in consciousness right now as we accept whatever love offering you choose to give to our center, and we bless it, and we know that it is being used for the greater good that is unfolding for all people. We know that the Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert has always and will always be a beacon of light in the Coachella Valley, and now a beacon of light in the world. We welcome all of our viewers from all over the country and all over the globe as they too join in this process of enlightening themselves to a new way of living, a better way to see their lives as it begins to unfold in a different way. So we bless this, and we bless these gifts which we're about to receive. We say thank you, beloved presence. Thank you for all of them. And we just bless this now. I seal it in truth as we say, and so it is. Amen. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Please share this message with anybody you'd like. We'd love to keep it getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So thank you. Have a great Sunday. Bless you.
What a wonderful service we've had together this morning here, huh? The music, we're so blessed.
the continued wisdom of Dr. Joe and all the ways that he blesses us as our spiritual director and leader. And now it's time for our benediction. A benediction, it's a prayer of gratitude, grateful for what's transpired. So let's just take a moment and turn our attention inward and feel blessed, feel grateful for all that we've learned, for the ways that we've been inspired, for the blessing of this morning, for the blessing of this day, for the blessing of whenever you're watching this service. Something's happened, and I'm grateful for that. And as we go forth with the blessing of this day and the continued ways that we receive insights and revelation, I know that each one of us continue to live our very best life. Put your best foot forward. The best words come out of our mouths. That we rise in our thinking to the best thoughts. I'm grateful. I call all of it so very good, and know that we, collectively, as a community, are blessed. It is good, and so it is. Amen.
So I don't know about any of you, but I've been having some little fear thoughts come in every once in a while, these little gremlins that come in and just kind of go around in my brain going, ah! So I called my comedy writing partner and I said, we have to write a song about this. So we looked to Ray Charles for inspiration. Hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more. Sing that with me now. What you say? Hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more. So don't try to make me freak out or fret over what hasn't even happened yet. I can get by, I know, if I tell you pack your things and go. That's right, hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more. I won't stress or panic, worry or squeal. Fear is false evidence appearing real. If I can just keep my head, I'll make sure that you don't spread. That's right, hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, fear, and don't you come here no more. I'll keep calm, wash my hands and not touch my face. I won't spread my cooties all over the place. I can get through this, no doubt, if I could keep myself from freaking out. Ah! Hit the road, fear, to make it disappear. I'll just breathe, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. Hit the road, fear, to make it disappear. I'll just breathe. Everyone take a deep breath. Say it with me one more time. Hit the road, fear, to make it disappear. I'm gonna breathe, just breathe, just breathe. Hit the road, fear, to make it disappear. I'm gonna breathe. Just gotta breathe. Take a deep breath. We're all gonna make it through this, I promise. I don't know how, but we will. Just breathe. Breathe. Just hit the road, fear. I'm gonna keep breathing.